another interesting lesson, once again by Elder Rawchaa, and it's called Denying Our Flesh and the Mark of the Beast. And he touches base on a lot of different key things that I think we brothers and sisters are going to get a lot out of. We're not going to go too much into the mark of the beast, but we're just going to touch base on some interesting facts about the mark and how the society is using technological advancement, okay, to actually as a segue to finally and ultimately implement the mark of the beast within everyone's daily life. Okay, so that there is something that they're doing, that they have been doing actually for quite some time, and it's been something that has been strategic, all right, that they have been doing, all right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's read this commentary here.
It says, oftentimes, while being deceived by sin, we believe our sin and not so bad. And as long as it doesn't affect others, it's not that bad. The truth is that sin always affects others. And because of our desire to remain in it, a system under Satan has emerged and is getting close to the height of its perversity and pride. Let's deal with sin and its effect and come on a closer understanding on how the mark of the beast ties into this whole issue of sin, so that we change our ways and walk in a straight path.
So that's interesting. By us having an attachment to this society and an attachment and we still have this desire and this longing to satisfy our flesh and our imagination, it causes us to not only sacrifice ourselves and cause ourselves to be vulnerable, but also our family. Okay. Also, not only just our family, but not just our immediate family, but also our general church family. Okay, so by us being attached to these wicked lusts and vibrations that we still like to latch on to, we don't understand the detriment that is doing to our spirits and the detriment that is doing to the nation. Okay, so let's start off with let's get 1 Corinthians 6 and 15 real quick. 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 15.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15. Know you not that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of a harlot?
Right, so that's a question mark. So our bodies are members of Yeshua. So a lot of times when you're dealing with sin, you just can't just feel that it's just, well, I'm the only one that's going to bear the brunt of my sin. That's not true. Your family can bear the brunt of your sin, and the nation can bear the brunt of your sin. It reminds me of the brother in the book of Joshua, Achan, with his situation, how he went and warred against the king of Ai, and how he took some artifacts and things that didn't belong to him. The Most High didn't want those things in the camp, but yet he went and took some things and brought it in the camp, and we went to war the following day, and we lost the war, and we lost lives. Because this brother had a personal lust for something that was physical. Okay, and by him having that personal lust, it caused us to lose a war, and it caused lives of our people. All right. So is there more on that?
It says, and make them the members of an harlot.
Mm-hmm.
Most High forbid.
Mm-hmm.
What? Know you not that he which is joined to a harlot is one body?
Right, so he that is joined to a harlot is one body. Like if a man deals with the harlot and deals with the woman, there's a connection between them two. So in a spiritual sense, when you, as being sons and daughters of the Most High, align yourself with Satan or wickedness, you become part of that wickedness. You embrace it and becomes a part of you, and you become a part of it. Read.
For two, saith he, shall be one flesh.
Mm-hmm.
But he that is joined unto the Most High is one spirit.
Right, so he that is joined to the Most High is one spirit. So when we join to the Most High, we become one spirit. We become unified. All right, let's go into Hosea, the 4th chapter. So we need to be mindful about our sins and how our sins affect us as individuals, affect our family members, and also affect us as a nation and as a whole. All right. One moment, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Hosea 4, and let's start from verse 6.
Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge.
So the Most High says that we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, and because we have rejected his knowledge. Okay, we're destroyed because we don't know anything about the Most High. We're not in tune with his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. And because we're not in tune with the Most High and his knowledge, therefore this society can push that knowledge on us. Okay, and it can entangle us in their web of deceit. And this is how they're actually implementing. They're using their knowledge and their technological advancement to actually assimilate us into taking the mark. All right, read.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
So the Most High said, because we have rejected his knowledge, he shall also reject us. Because we don't have the knowledge of the Most High. So the Most High, he doesn't want to deal with us. He can't use us. He can't utilize us because we're not dealing with his knowledge. So by us not dealing with his knowledge, what knowledge are we dealing with? We're dealing with the knowledge of the world, and which is actually really satanic. All right, read.
That thou shalt be no priest to me,
Read.
seeing thou hast forgotten the law of the Most High, of thy power.
Right, so the Most High said that we would not be a priest to him, saying that we have forgotten his laws. It's more on that.
I will also forgive thy children.
Read.
As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame.
Right, and that's what happens. The Most High ultimately and eventually he changed the nation of Israel glory into shame. And on an individual level, if we continue in sin, he's going to change our personal glory into shame. All right, let's read this commentary.
It says, as we begin to increase in numbers, we begin to sin more and more, having more access to foolishness. We rejected the true ways of the Most High in exchange for following the course of the rest of the world. The rest of the world was following their own gods. And just like today, with other belief systems, came more indulgence in sin. The mark of the beast also come with a way of beliefs, which just like in the past will allure many simply because of our desire to follow our own lust.
So it's interesting. So by us following the pattern of this society, it causes us to actually become etched in more and more into accepting the mark of the beast. Let's get Psalm the 51st chapter. Psalms 51 and 5. One moment. So a lot of the things that we deal with in this society, it wasn't by chance because we grew up in this society. This is how we were programmed. We were programmed to have a desire for this way of life. Read 51 and 5.
Psalm chapter 51 verse 5. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me.
Right. So a lot of us, we were shapen in iniquity. Okay, and in the state of sin is how we were actually conceived. We were actually brought into a world of sin. So we were destitute from the beginning. Most of us being birthed into a society that already had that construct established and set up. So that's all we ever known. So we've been programmed from day one. All right. Ultimately to follow Satan and to follow all the things that he implemented along the course of our lives. All right. Let's get 1 John 2 and 15. First John 2 and 15.
1 John chapter 2 verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Right. So we're not supposed to love the world. Right. Because if anything if anything in us is still worldly, then the love of the Most High is not in us, because the Most High, he's not a supporter of this world. He's not a supporter of this society. And a lot of the technological advancements and a lot of the innovations of this society are wicked, and they produce sin. And just to maintain and manage yourself in this society, and unfortunately, you have to, for the most part, participate in some form of transgression against the Most High. Okay, read.
Verse 16. Oh no, at the end of verse 15, it says, if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Exactly. So your interest in this society, if you have an interest in this society of wanting to be a part of this construct and support this system, then you need to examine yourself. The love of the Most High possibly may not be in you. Read.
Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life.
So that's what's in this world. That's all this society has to offer us, is the pride of life, the lust of our eyes, and the lust of our flesh. So this world is physical, but the Most High is spiritual. So that's all this society has to offer us. Only physical and carnal enjoyments or excitements, because that's all it is at the end of the day. It's just carnal temptation and carnal sensations that we ultimately give ourselves over to, and it leads us down a path and a road towards perdition and sin. Read.
And the pride of life is not of the Father.
Right, and the pride of life is not of the Father. So all the things that this society offers that causes you to deal with pride, that causes you to be boastful, that causes you to always deal with idolatry and paganism and different things of that sort, those things are not of the Father. The Most High, he's not in those things. And we have the nerve sometimes to thank the Most High or like praise the Most High when we obtain these things. But the Most High is not in those things. Satan is the one that offered us those things. All those things are constructs of Satan. Read.
But it's of the world.
But it's of the world. Once again, of this society. And Yeshua wasn't dealing with this world. He wasn't dealing with this society. This is not his kingdom. All these things are against righteous morals and principles. When you really examine this life that we're living. Read.
Verse 17. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof.
Right, but the world is going to pass away, and the things that are lustful pertaining to the world are going to pass away. Let's is the commentary, is there more on that?
That's it on that.
Let's get Hebrews 11 and 25. So the world is going to pass away. So now, in lieu of this understanding that the world is going to pass away, what must we do? Let's get an example from Moses and find out how he dealt with the temptations in the world and what decisions he made when it came to reverence in the world. Okay, read.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 25. Choosing rather to suffer affliction.
Can you read 24, please?
Yeah, verse 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
Right, so when Moses got old enough and got mature enough and started understanding what was going on, what was the real reality of Egypt? What was the real reality of Moses' condition and the condition that his people were in? The same way a lot of us have to come to that conclusion, and some of you have. Most of us have came to that conclusion when we stepped back and walked away from this world. All right, read.
Verse 25. Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
So that's what Moses chose. He chose rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. And that's what we need to do. We need to make a decision on who we're going to serve. Are we going to serve the Most High, or are we going to serve the society? Because when you serve in the Most High, you may suffer. You're going to lose some things. There's going to be a decline in your life or in your living conditions. Your standard of living, there's a strong possibility that it may decrease.
Mm.
And a lot of people can't handle that. They can't handle losing that job, losing a spouse, losing the admiration and the love of family and friends. A lot of people can't handle those things. So a lot of people, in lieu of us, and some people holding on to this lifestyle, they're going to actually take the mark and submit to the beast in order to maintain and manage this lifestyle. Okay, some more on that.
Verse 26.
Mhm.
Esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt.
Right, so that's what we should do. We should esteem the reproaches of Christ greater than the riches of Egypt, greater than the riches of America, greater than the benefits that this society has to offer us. How many of us are at that point right now where they can digest that and embrace that concept of knowing that you can just, that you're prepared to just walk away from your life, no matter how prosperous it is? Who's ready to do that and suffer and live a life of affliction? A lot of us may not be able to do that. So therefore, because a lot of us may not be able to handle that, we have to consider the probability that some of us may decide to take the mark. Read.
For he had respect unto the recompense of the reward.
Mm-hmm.
That's it on that.
Exactly. So Moses had recompense of the respect of the reward of serving the Most High, receiving everlasting life, ultimately being delivered out of Egypt, being delivered out of bondage, and knowing that the Most High is going to catapult and uplift him and his people. And this is the mindset that we have to have. We have to be able to walk away from this society when it's time to, and not accept the mark. All right. This commentary on that.
It says, the world itself has no such commandments, which in turn causes addictions, which really is another way of saying you are under the control of evil spirits. We must begin to reshape our minds in the way we rely on certain sinful behaviors, regardless of how it started, because it would cause us to compromise ourselves potentially, compromise ourselves potentially in the future with the technology which will be available for us to indulge in.
Okay, so it says the world itself has no such commandments. So there's no constraints on this society. This world doesn't put any constraints on you. They say that they do. Of course, you have different penal codes and stuff like that, and you have laws against this and laws against that. But at the end of the day, there's loopholes in all those laws, so you can fulfill any kind of wicked, perverted pleasure in this society that you want to, but there's no constraints. Anything goes. All right. I want to get an article. Okay. It's newscientist.com. We're going to put it in the chat box so the moderator can give it to you in case anyone wants to look at it later on. But there's no constraints in this society. Okay, you're exposed to all kind of perversions at whenever you want to. Okay, and it's sickening. Okay, when you think about some of the perversions that this society offers, but all these things are just segues, as I mentioned earlier, into getting us comfortable with technology and ultimately getting us comfortable enough to consider the possibilities of taking the mark. All right. So it's, as I said before, it's www.newscientist.com. Those of you who can get it real quick can get it. It's a short article, and it's titled, "Could Sex Robots in Virtual Reality Treat Pedophilia?" Interesting. Now, you have a man or a woman who's an adult, right? And, they need therapy because they like to indulge in sexual activities with little boys and girls. So now you need a therapist for that nowadays. No, you don't need a therapist. You need stones. That's what you need. You need stones. You need boulders upside your head. Anybody that's dealing with anything like that. But let's read this article.
It says, this isn't as far from the truth as you might think. A Japanese company named Rawchaa already shipped child-sized sex dolls globally.
Stop right there. Now, there's a Japanese company out there that's shipping out and selling child-size sex dolls. Not adult, child. So now if you're an adult and an adult and you have a a perverted spirit of dealing with young children, then you have some issues. Why would they prescribe? What doctor in his right mind would prescribe additional therapy for you? They're trying to wean you off. They're trying to wean you off from being a sex offender. So they're going to give you a little doll to practice with at home so that can curb your appetite so you don't deal with little children. What kind of society are we living in? Who does this? There's more on that.
It says, earlier this year, a Canadian man went on trial after he was arrested in 2013 for ordering such a doll. Under Canadian law, they are considered child pornography, and he could go to jail for 7 years.
Now, he should go to jail. He should get put to death. That's what he should. That's what really should happen to him. But because the wrong judgment goes forth in this society, what are they going to do? They want to work it out where this guy gets probation. Not only gets probation, but where he gets therapy. Okay, and practice with a sex doll to try to curb his appetite for young children. It doesn't make sense, but only in America and Canada and Europe. Okay, only in our societies. Okay, you'll never hear about this in the Far East, in the Middle East, or not the Middle East, but you understand, in some of the Muslim populated countries. You'll never hear about them making this kind of suggestion. Only in America. Read.
It says, but what if dolls like these could help rather than hurt? Ron Arkin, a robotics engineer at...
Can you stop right there?
Yeah.
So now that they want to explore now. They want to explore the possibility of that this could help. What if? They got to put the possibility out there so you can support it. So you can possibly see it and kind of like, yeah, you know what? Maybe we do need to consider this kind of approach. Maybe this may work. Maybe this may help him. Maybe this may help her. Read.
It says Ron Arkin, a robotics engineer at the Georgia Institute of Technology, and one of the panelists, argued that people should not only legally be permitted to have such dolls, but perhaps some should be handed prescriptions for them.
You see that? So now they're filing a campaign now. There's a campaign now. Okay? The everybody's probably behind this. The transgender community and everybody else is probably in support of this. Read that again.
It says, Ron Arkin, a robotics engineer at the Georgia Institute of Technology, and one of the panelists, argued that people should not only legally be permitted to have such dolls, but perhaps some should be handed prescriptions for them.
So now they're arguing about this fact, and now they want to give you prescriptions. Excuse me. So first they legalized marijuana, right? And then they're going to legalize cocoa leaves soon too, right? So they want you blasted out of your mind when you're dealing in your perverseness, and then they want to give you a prescription to go get. You're a pedophile, an adult pedophile. They want to give you a prescription. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me write you a prescription for this and take this and go get it filled. So now you're going to go to Rite Aid. You're going to go to CVS Pharmacy now and get a blow-up doll that looks like someone's son or daughter. It's crazy. These perversions in this society is out of control. It's worse. We're way beyond Sodom and Gomorrah. Way beyond Sodom and Gomorrah. There's more on that.
It says, in his opinion, VR and sex robots might function as an outlet for people to express their urges. Redirecting dark desires toward machines.
Wait a minute. Redirecting your dark desire. Redirecting your demonicness. Redirecting that demon. You're not, what is the word? We don't want to cast the spirit out. We don't want to do that. We want to keep it there and just kind of let it lay dormant a little bit and let you kind of deal with it in your household. And then every now and then, when you feel like you want the real thing, you have the possibility of going out there and kidnapping someone's child. This is what they want to do. What's wrong with that?
It says redirecting dark desires towards machines and away from real children. If it works, it could help past offenders. It can help past offenders reintegrate harmlessly into society.
So that's going to help you now. It's going to help you. It's going to help you reintegrate back into society now. You're going to be able to live back out there and be amongst population. Meaning you're going to be able to walk around schoolyards and playgrounds for the most part. That's what that means. And scout out live victims when your mechanical puppet runs out of batteries. This is totally satanic. Is it more than that?
It says into society as well as helping prevent those who have never offended from doing so.
And wait a minute. So now what they want, they trying to incite this perverseness now. So those who never they just never got caught. You understand? Only those that get caught get the prescription. But the ones that never got caught and want to be perverted, listen, you can the same way you can get over-the-counter drugs, you can get over-the-counter perverseness now. So they're making it simple and they're making it easy for us to actually, you know what? Ultimately, all this perverseness is actually, it's doing more than just leading up to the mark. A lot of these things are just, it's opening us up, making us more susceptible to a legion of demons. That's what it's doing, because perverseness is and debauchery it's the segue into all sin. It's the segue. That's how those demons. That's why when in these different societies, what they have you participate in, these these orgies and things like that. I forget the other word, the cleaner word for it. But they had you perform, get involved in all this debauchery. And I was just reading on the news about the island in Italy, Orgy Island. Look it up. There's an island in Italy called Orgy Island. Now you help me with that one. Give me the understanding on that. So now you can hop in your jet and you can or book a ticket, an economy flight to Italy and participate in perverseness. This is the society we live in. Like I said before, all these things are just segues to ultimately usher in the mark of the beast and usher in Satan's the last aspects of Satan's perverted kingdom. All right, is going that?
That's it on it.
Can we get this last clip, because this is for my UK brothers and sisters. All right, I mean it's for all of us, but in Britain they're passing a law. We're going to though for those of you who don't know about it, okay? Now a lot of people look at it's in the Sun newspaper. A lot of people look at that as a paper that's not it's not a I don't want to say current paper, but it's not a popular, you understand, magazine. But nonetheless, some of the articles and some of the stories they have in there are true. Okay, everything is not fictitious and made up in this particular magazine. All right, but let's get that real quick, because this is where they want to take it. Transhumanism. Okay, this is where they want to take it. Perverseness and transhumanism. Now the other devices, that they started coming out with, excuse me, earlier on in the perverted community. You understand? I'm not going to talk too much about them, but they graduating now. They're moving on. Okay, they're not giving you a tool or a toy now. Okay, they want to give you they want to make a mix. They want to mix humans with machines. All right. So is that article in the chat?
Yes, in the chat.
Okay. So now, what do they want to do now? It says robot marriages will be recognized by the state within 35 years. Okay, really, it's recognized by the state now, but they had to put that window on there, like it's 35 years from now. This is such a far away, But no, this is right around the corner. You understand? You won't get arrested for this. If the police, you understand, bust inside your door and you're active with a machine or whatever or a dial, they won't file any charges against you. So this thing is they're acting like it's on the books. It's beyond the books right now. Okay, this thing is in our living room. It's in our houses. It's in our communities right now. All right, it's actually really been there, but now they want to just, they don't want to hide it anymore. This is a liberal society. I should be free to fondle a piece of plastic if I want to, and you understand, and call her my wife. You understand? I should be. You understand? That's what is it? That's my right. That's my constitutional right. If I want to marry, a piece of plastic. You understand? It's funny, but it's serious though. It's sad that this is where we at, y'all. You understand? So it says robot marriages will be recognized by the state within 35 years. Okay, top academics has claimed. All right, so you're going to actually be able. Actually, you know what? There was an article. There was a show on a couple of days ago, wasn't it? About a guy that had a doll. And he was, he had her dressed up, sitting on the couch and everything, hugging her like it was his woman. And he was taking her in the kitchen. What? Hey, listen, this society is gone. It's gone. That's why the Most High got to destroy this place. This is why he has to burn it. You can't rehabilitate it. You can't fix it. You understand? You just have to burn it. Mm-hmm. That's the only way the Most High is going to get the impurities out of this society. You got to burn it with fire. Is that on it?
Yeah. Okay,
let's jump back and read some of this commentary here. Yeah, it's I don't know. We may not have much time by the way things is going.
It says, so instead of anointing, fasting, prayer, and righteous counseling from someone with heavily demonic.
Wait a minute. See, don't get the priest. Go to the pharmacist. Go see a therapist. What happened to the priest?
Tell me.
What happened to the priest? Nobody runs to the elders anymore. Read.
It says, in righteous counseling from someone with heavily demonic thoughts, they propose that you still allow your mind to be perverse, just in a more controlled fashion.
You see that? So now, what do? They still allow you, and they still support the fact of you practicing deceit. No one is setting up a standard. No one is making a distinction between right and wrong, between moral and immoral. No one's doing that. This society is not. Because if this society, they talk about, in God we trust. Listen, make no mistake, the God that they trust in, the power that they trust in is Satan. And that's evidently clear. It's more than that.
It says, there is no way to control demons. The point is to cast them out. Otherwise, you will eventually act out of the sin which you continue to think upon so continually.
You see that? You got to cast it out or beat it out. One or the other. All right. There's more on that.
It says a drug addict doesn't become a productive citizen by being given a different drug to be addicted to.
Mm-hmm. Let's get Revelation the 12th chapter. Yeah. Interesting articles.
Yeah.
Only in America. And them things, I don't know the way Trump going out, they might be made in America. You know, because, you know, he's talking about that NAFTA agreement thing, and then he's out on China every once in a while. We're going to talk about China for a minute, too, because China manufactures that stuff, too.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy he was from Japan, and the engineer. It seems like America come up with these crazy concepts and ideas, and they send the scale, the prototypes to them, to China and Japan. Listen, make me 1 million of these. And listen, they actually, everyone knows that they actually have the dolls. They actually have them, and they're looking lifelike, adult looking lifelike. And I'm telling you, they're going as far as, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna kind of leave it alone. They're going as far as to allow these things to flush out secretions and everything. They trying to really go into this thing. And then who knows, because you know how these people get. They may you know, they want to start changing. This may change vitro and all those other biotechnical or biochemical programs that they're running. This may change some things, and so I don't know. This could possibly put surrogate, you understand, potential baby carriers out of business when they get done with this thing, because they're going all the way into it. You know, it's bad enough what they're doing with how they're doing the transgender thing as far as these surgeries are concerned. So don't take too much thought that you understand. They are, like I said, they're already doing vitro. Vitro is that stuff is already in tubes and labs and things like that. So they're not that far away. Okay. So let's get Revelations 12:1. Excuse me. I just thought about that because that's something that I was reading in an article that they're kind of putting that out there. Revelation 12:1. Read that.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, in pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon had 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. Right,
so everyone knows that the woman is Israel, and the dragon is Satan. Read.
And did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman.
So now Satan is here in our presence, and he's here with his fallen angels. Read.
Which was ready to be delivered. For to devour her child as soon as it was born.
Right, so not only did they make an attempt to devour Yeshaya, but it's always been an attempt with Satan to devour and kill that remnant and kill that seed. It started with Abraham. So there's always been a pursuit of this negative spirit to ultimately keep that righteous generation and seed from surfacing and coming into the earth. All right, read.
Verse 5. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto the Most High.
Read.
And to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of the Most High, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
Read.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven.
Right, read.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world.
Right, go up to 15. So now Satan was cast out with his angels, right? And so now what is he doing? He's deceiving the whole world. Deceiving the whole world into perverseness and wickedness, right? Pushing and moving toward deceiving the whole world also to accept the mark of the beast also. But read verse 15.
Verse 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood.
Right. So the water as a flood, it just wasn't information. It was a lot of things. Okay. It's his system, his educational system, his inventions. Okay. So it wasn't just some of the information in early Christianity from Rome. You understand that they've been pushing out. It's a lot of things. All right. Read.
After the woman.
After the woman, after the nation of Israel, right? So all these things is ultimately aimed at the children of Israel. All right, there's more on that.
That he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
Right. So ultimately, that's what he wants to accomplish. He wants to cause us to be carried away of the flood. So through that educational system, their marketing system, when it comes to TVs and commercials and the media and things like that. These are the things that's carrying us away. These are the things that's sweeping us away. These are the things that we're getting caught up in. All right. Is there more on that?
Let's sit on that.
Okay. Let's get this commentary.
It says, if it is one thing Satan has used to deceive the world, it is sin. Through our lust sprung up all sorts of religions and philosophies. A man's desire to follow his own flesh instead of the Most High has given Satan a way in which he can deceive us, even when it comes to depending on his new technological system, which will bring forth the mark of the beast as the only way for us to be able to operate within society.
Right. So through mankind's lust for different things, we started dealing with wicked imaginations and having all these different thoughts. We started thinking about these things and then started constructing these things and causing these things to materialize in our lives. All right. There's more on that. Okay. So there's more from an article, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just read that real quick.
It says, Glider says the ultimate goal with virtual reality is to achieve full immersion or telepresence, which incorporates all of the senses.
Interesting. So now they're dealing with this is the virtual reality now. So now they want to deal with what is something that's called telepresence, which incorporates all the senses. So now, and that's what this society is good for. They know how to appeal to your delights, to your senses. They know what makes you tick, and they know what you appeal to. So that's the target area now. And this is how Satan gets us every time. He targets the things that you enjoy, your delights, your desires. Read more on that.
It says videos alone have sight and sound covered. In Kiro.
Wait a minute. He said videos alone have sight and sound covered. So now they got your sight, they got your sound, they got your eyes and your ears now. That's not enough. That's not enough. They want your body now. They want you to be perverted now. They want you to feel the sensation in your flesh. It's not enough. We got to give them more. Read.
It says in Kiru adds haptic feedback, which signals that we're more than halfway there.
So wait a minute. So now there's been feedback. You know where the feedback been coming from? You gamers out there. Sorry. All due respect, you're being monitored when you're playing these games, and they're learning from you. They're learning what they're studying your stimuli, and they're studying your emotional reactions and different things like that. That's what they're doing. They're running tests. You don't know it because a lot of this stuff is etched in the software. But there's someone behind the scenes looking at readings and everything. And guess what? It may be in the joystick because they have joysticks now that vibrate and stuff like that. So they could be picking up and reading different things about you just through you holding the device, and it's transmitting and sending the signals back to somebody in in a back room somewhere. So they're studying us through these games. So that's something that we may need to examine. Let me tell you something. Eventually, we're going to have to step back from technology, as a whole. Even when it comes to the cell phones and the computers, they're studying your habits, your NSA. They're studying your movements. What websites you like, what how many times you visit this site, how many times you visit that site. They're recording these things. That's why you gotta be careful with different questionnaires and different information. Like you'll download a program and I'll ask you to fill this out. Let's take this survey. And they'll ask you certain questions. You understand? I'm like, why is that important? I'll be like, no, thank you. You don't need to know that about me. What kind of magazines do you like? And listen, don't get me started about the viruses that's on your computer. Listen, no one can convince me that these virus programs are automatic. They come straight from Satan. You know why I say that? They have to, because when you got a virus on, I know for me, when I get viruses on my computer, man, I'll key up, world maps, and I'll get porn. And I just don't understand where it comes from. I'm not typing in anything in my box related to pornography, but all of a sudden it pops up. Most of the times when I may have an infection in my computer, that's like the segue. Anybody get an infection in their computer, it's like the porn demons or some dudes are back there like, yo, send it through. You understand? And you just get all this stuff that pops up, and you haven't keyed in nothing similar to what pops up. Yeah. So Satan is he's in it. Okay, he's in it hard. Okay.
It says the porn industry, which Rawchaa GOCC, assistant professor of sociology, at New Mexico State, estimated that 97 billion global industry in 2014.
So now, sorry for cutting you off. So now, what do they have? Therapists and engineers and sociologists now. They're behind all these things. They're behind all the studies. Okay, and they're using these guys, you understand, to do surveys and and to get a consensus on you, what you enjoy and what you like. And this is what estimated what?
Estimated was a 97 billion global industry. Porn
is a 97 billion dollar industry. So it's a benefit. They're making money, and then they're also perverting you in the process. Opening you up once again for demonic possession. It's more than that.
It says in 2014,
okay,
has always embraced a new technology, and virtual reality is no exception.
Here it is. So now you're going to get the ultimate sex experience now. Not the ultimate gaming adventure. No, we moving this from PlayStation and Nintendo. We going XXX on this one. That's the ultimate goal, is to pervert you. And I don't really play games much, but do they have our advertisement on those things? Mm-hmm. They do. Do they show advertisement on those things? Watch out, y'all. Next, you're going to get advertisement on your screen. And this is why we have to monitor our children when they're playing these games. You don't know what they're showing you. You don't know what they're showing your kids. You don't know what they're exposing them to when you're playing, when they're playing those games, because they have access to multiple users. How do you know that this person that your child is interacting with is not a pedophile? How do you know? And these are all the arenas that these people target. They don't go to playgrounds anymore like they used to. They don't go to schoolyards anymore like they used to. That in these gaming chat rooms. That's where they at. They're in those stores, GameStop and stuff like that. Standing right next to your kid playing a game. And you think this guy just he's just a gamester, Dad. He's just a gamester, Mom. That's all he is. You got an adult standing right next to your child, like this. Probably slipping your child a phone number. Asking them questions and everything while he playing the game. Hey, what school you go to? Oh, they must be really teaching you that at that school. These are the ploys that they used. They use these tactics to get to our children. So we have to be careful about these games. All right? There's more on that?
That's it on that. It's commentary.
Okay, let's read some commentary.
It says, it's not enough that adult films destroy many people's minds and ways of interaction in society. They look to make things even more perverse so that you can also feel the sensations, which really we have to ask ourselves, how is that possible over long distance?
How is it possible over long distance? They're going to figure this thing out. You're not even there in the room. And you know what? It's interesting too, because you know what's the earlier concept of what they're trying to achieve? These chat line things. These they have not chat line things, but the web chats.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the webcam sex things, and I hope there's no children listening today. Excuse me if there is. Okay. But yes, that's the earlier concept of what they're trying to achieve ultimately. To have you actually be sitting home and actually really feel a sensation. That's what they want. No stones will be unturned when it comes to corrupting our minds. 97 billion and counting this industry makes.
That was 3 years ago.
And that was 3 years ago. What's going on?
It says, are we sure that we are not making a way that demons can access our bodies more easily?
Wait a minute. So now, what happens now? Everybody knows that everything is vibrational. These demons travel through frequencies.
That's right.
That's why we have to be careful about what movies we watch, what commercials we watch, what music we listen to, because they're traveling on these wavelengths that we can't even see with the unseen eye. Just that fast. And you know what? It's interesting because this society has figured that out. They studied brain waves and microwaves and gamma rays and all these other things so much to the degree and point that they know how to send a signal. Hey, we got Wi-Fi, don't we?
Real talk.
Hey, don't act like they can't send it. They can send it. And then you're hold on, wait, what was that? Where did that urge come from? Why do I have the desire to do this? Because they sent out a signal. Just like how, and you know what, this is interesting too, because they've been doing this for such a long time. I could never understand how, back in the day, we used to clone cell phones and stuff like that. And, they used to send bullets through the system, they used to call it, and cut you off through a signal. The same way they're doing it today with your cell phone now. Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, whatever. Send a signal through there, and cut off his service. They'll send a signal, or they can stop the signal or allow the signal to continue. But they send other things through those signals. All right? There's more on that?
It says, there are demons which do perverse things to people while they are asleep, and most times while struggling with the sin.
So now the demons, they come to you in your sleep, okay? And a lot of times they come to you while you're not asleep, all right? But when you're sleeping and resting, you're open. You're a certain part of your consciousness is lying dormant. You understand? That's why you kind of dream and drift off and go on REM sleeps and things like that, because there's actually activity also taking place. There's a scripture too where the Most High says He steals our instructions when we're asleep.
Yep.
Guess what? Satan steals things too when you sleep. All right, read.
It says, you will find that all this synced technology will ultimately be used to fully integrate your vessels with demons in the mark.
Interesting. So he said, all this sync technology, syncing, linking in, connecting, is how these spirits are actually going to travel from person to person, from place to place. Read.
It says, and the mark will be the identifier to link in.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay, let's get the Testament of Reuben. Those of you who have the 12 patriarchs. We want to read out of the Testament of Reuben. All right. And we're going to start from the second, the first chapter, but the second paragraph. Okay. All right. Read that.
It says, and now hear me, my children, what things I saw concerning the 7 spirits of deceit.
So now we're dealing with 7 spirits of deceit. All right. And these 7 spirits are of deceit. They lie within us. All right. They're interacting with us. Read.
When I repented. It says 7 spirits therefore are appointed against man.
Interesting. So Reuben, he couldn't even relate to these things until he was in a state of repentance. Interesting. So he was fasting and he was in a repentative state. And while he was in this state, he started noticing unusual activities about his mind or about his body and his thought process. This is something that we need to examine. Read.
7 spirits therefore are appointed against man, and they are the leaders in the works of youth.
So now these spirits are the most prominent active spirits in our lives when we're young. Okay? This is why you got to watch and manage your children. Okay? Because a lot of us are still fighting demons right now today from our youth. Because we allow some kind of perversion to creep in, or we was exposed to something, or we were victimized, whatever the case may be. But them spirits are still with us today, and a lot of us are still struggling to exercise them. Read.
And 7 other spirits are given to him at his creation, that through them should be done every work of man. The first is the spirit of life, with which the constitution of man is created. The second is the sense of sight.
Right. So now he's going into the senses and things that relates to man's creation. Read.
With which ariseth desire.
So the second is the sense of sight, which ariseth desire, things you see. You have a desire for, you have a longing or a lust for it. Read.
The third is the sense of hearing.
Right.
With which cometh teaching. The fourth is the sense of smell, with which taste are given, to draw air and breath. The fifth is the power of speech, with which cometh knowledge. The sixth is the sense of taste, with which cometh eating of meats and drinks. And by it strength is produced. For in food is the foundation of strength.
Right.
The seventh is the power of procreation in sexual intercourse, with which through love of pleasures sins enter in.
You see that? So through the love of pleasure, all right, they understand that sin can enter into your body.
That's right.
Because you love pleasure, because you want to serve your flesh, or you want to commit this act, or you want to, be active, with your wife or with your husband. So they use that now. So whatever is, as much as they can possibly push anything that's pleasurable, anything that's sensual, and sexy, as much as they can push that on society, they're going to push that on us because why? They know that that's the segue into dealing with other multiple sins. Is there more on that?
It says, wherefore it is the last in order of creation, and the first in that of youth, because it is filled with ignorance, and leadeth the youth as a blind man to a pit.
Right. That's it on that? Okay. Let's move on. Let's get let's read the commentary. I'm going to bypass that.
Right. It says, with sin also comes a desire to continue in sin regardless of who you have to sacrifice to ultimately. People came against the prophets of the past because they were trying to sober them up with the word of the Most High. And it will be no different in these last days. The world will be willing participants in the world which Satan has to offer. And many will be betrayed by those who are close to them.
So we're going to switch it up a little bit. All right. Touch base on some other things. So it says, with sin also comes a desire to continue in sin, regardless of who you have to sacrifice to. So it doesn't matter. With particular sins and particular lusts of the flesh, it doesn't matter who you have to transgress against. We transgress against the Most High all the time to satisfy the lust of our flesh. So you understand? So we'll transgress against anybody, ourselves, brothers and sisters, in order to satisfy ourselves. We'll transgress to the point where we'll start dealing with inordinate affections and things like that can actually lead to violence. Sometimes these are the spirits that these pedophiles are dealing with. It says people came against the prophets of the past because they were trying to sober them up. And a lot of people, this is interesting too, because a lot of people, they don't want to hear this information because people don't want to make the corrections. People, get mad. People don't want us teaching on these particular topics and subjects, but we have to lift up our voice and we have to show our people and just show the world their transgressions. All right. So it says the world will be willing participants the world will be willing participants in the world which Satan has to offer, and many will be betrayed by those who are close to them simply because you threatened them coming out of the hypnotic sinful state. Interesting. Let's get 2 Peter 3 and 5. So the same way the world has become a willing participant and society has become a willing participant, we can too. Because a lot of us see these things, a lot of us acknowledge these things, but we don't want to make the change. You understand? Even though we see it and we feel condemned, you understand, but because that the urge to satisfy, you understand, your flesh, or to satisfy your wicked imagination, it overcomes the irrational mind. So now you don't really want to consider the reality of what you're dealing with. You really don't want to look at and consider the state that you're in. And when someone tells you, you get mad and you want to attack them. Let's get 2 Peter 3 and 5.
2 Peter chapter 3 verse.
Start from 4.
2 Peter chapter 3 verse 4.
As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's start from 3.
All right. It says, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking in their own lust.
See, and that's what a lot of people become. They become scoffers, walking in their own lust, rebellious, disobedient, people who don't want to hear, reprobates, know it, but yet don't want to receive it, don't want to believe it, don't want to embrace it enough to make the change. Read.
And saying, where is the promise of his coming?
And because a lot of people don't understand the promise of Yeshua's coming, they don't understand people don't have patience. They lost patience. They don't understand time. You understand? They don't understand that the Most High is dealing with this thing in chronology, in phases and stages. They don't understand the concept of dispensations. They don't understand that. So a lot of people get impatient and they go back out into the world and they just settle for the state that they're in. Read.
For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the
This is
beginning.
what people say. Since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning. Well, they was talking about this. My grandfather was alive when he was young. He was talking about we was living in the last days. They've been saying we've been living in the last days for the past 50 years. But we are living in the last days. All right. Read.
Verse 5. For this they willingly are ignorant.
Right. People don't understand the last days. The last days is just not 3 days, a couple of days. It's a period. All right. And we are in that period. We're in that generation. It's more and more evident. Read.
That by the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old.
Go back up again. Start from read what 5 you're at.
Verse 5. For this they willingly are ignorant.
So that's the interesting part. So people willingly just become ignorant and want to blind themselves. They see it, they understand it, but they don't want to embrace it because they don't want to change. So people, we deceive ourselves. That's what we actually do. We lie to ourselves and we act like well, he just didn't say that. He just didn't break that down. No, it was broken down. And you're going to recall that it was broken down in that day when the Most High decides to deal with you. You're going to have a recollection. All right. Read that again, 5.
Verse 5. For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water.
So let's move on. Let's get 2 Timothy 2:22. So we can pretend like we didn't hear it, like it didn't register, all we want to. I remember when they first got instant replay, watching football and stuff like that. Most High, he gonna give you some instant replay. I don't want him to give me mine. So 2 Timothy 2:22.
2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 22. Flee also youthful lust, but follow righteousness.
Right. So that's what we have to do. Flee useful lust and follow after righteousness. Read.
Faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Most High out of a pure heart. But foolish and unlearned questions avoid.
Yes, 2 Timothy 2:22.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Okay.
Verse 23. It says, but foolish and unlearned questions avoid, knowing that they do gender strifes.
Right.
And the servant of the Most High must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, after teach, patient, in meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves.
Right.
If the Most High peradventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil.
That's what we got to do. That's what I wanted. That's what we have to do. We have to recover ourselves now out of the snare of the devil. We have to recover. We have to examine ourselves and find out how did I get into this situation? Why am I still allowing myself to be in this situation? What's still causing me to gravitate towards this particular sin? Well, what is about society? What is about the world that I still have a desire for, that I still have an interest in? You understand that I will be willing to go as far as taking the mark, so I can still enjoy these particular behaviors or delights, whatever you want to call it. So the examination has to be deep. Read.
Verse 26, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will.
First of all, we have to recover ourselves out of the traps, out of the snares. And that's what that flood was about. That's what the disinformation is about. That's what all these different forms of advertisement and enticement is about. It's to entrap us and to get us to start using our imaginations to fantasize and stuff like that. Then it also talks about how, what's the last word it mentions?
Captive.
Captive. Think about the word captive. When you get time, look up the word captive, and you're gonna see that the word captive, it doesn't go into admiring something and having admiration. It's actually being enchanted by something, being bewitched by something. All that is Satan. That's what he do with his apparatuses of seduction, right? So he's linking us in constantly. He's tying us in constantly with technology. This is how he's seducing us. This is how he get us. I remember everybody had analog. Listen, I just got a Samsung recently, the past couple of years. I know a lot of people had them for years. I just buried my BlackBerry not too long ago. Everybody will tell you. You understand? I wasn't dealing with touch phones, none of that stuff. You know, my computer is a Lenovo. You understand? So I don't deal with that stuff much. But that's what they're using. They're using this technology. Listen, and it's bad now because I won't leave the house without my phone. If I'm going to sit out front, I have my phone. I'll leave my keys first. You know, that's how linked in we are. That's how reliant we are. And that's how dependable we are on this system. And that's what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Satan wanted. He's jumping for joy. He's like, I got him now. We got him now. Hey, I'm sorry about you Mac users. Sorry. You know, but you know this is, I know, even though, you know, Eve didn't eat an apple, but still, you understand? No, but he getting them with the Macs though. I feel sorry for you iPhone users. You understand? Because y'all, you know, y'all can't let it go. You understand? So we're gonna have to watch all Mac users. Just kidding. You know, it's more on that, man.
That's it on that.
So yeah, so being captivated. You understand? Stuff that captivates you. Wow, man, it does this, it does that. Yeah, and it also has this and that. You know, there's one brother here know all the specs on that stuff. You know, I don't know what none of that stuff means. I barely know what kilobytes are. You know, I think what 1,000 kilobytes is 1 gig. You know, but that's what they're getting us. They're getting us with the technology. All right. So that's what they're going to use to ultimately sweep us in. Here, take the mark. Because you know what? They have a phone now where it's a bracelet.
Yeah.
And then it, you know, you touch it and it comes out on your forearm, on your skin, and you can actually touch it and it. Yeah, I don't know what kind of technology it is, but it works. You know, some kind of holographic image or something that has some kind of sensory connectors to it, and you understand, you touch it and stuff opens up on your arm and everything.
Probably getting radiation.
Yup, probably getting radiation. That's another thing too. When you look into some of this transhumanism, and you know, I don't have anything against people that have disabilities and things like that. You know, and different handicaps, and you had to get surgery, and you had to get rods or pins in your you know, your ankle, your elbow, whatever you need. But that stuff is not safe. They're going to tell you that it's safe, but it's really not safe. The same way mercury affects your nervous system, that stuff, it affects your blood system. Those well, they're not using steel rods anymore. Now they're using titanium plates. That's what they're using now. Oh yeah, you know, we're not using steel anymore. We're using titanium, but it's still a foreign substance in your body. You understand? That's why this transhumanism thing, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna have the longevity that people think it's going to have. It's going to come with some negative symptoms, but you'll never hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never hear about how that metal and some microchips and things like that, as after a while starts to affect, fall little bits and pieces, microscopic particles of titanium. It starts to mix with your blood. They're not going to tell you about that kind of stuff, and then you start having, neurological issues and things like that. You just want to walk again. You want to run again. You understand? So whatever it takes for you to enjoy life again, you're going to do it. And that's interesting too, because whatever it takes for you to enjoy life again, you're going to take it. So it's a strong possibility that, you understand, who's going to take the mark, because you won't be able to buy and sell without it. How do you want to get your medications? How are you going to survive? I don't know. I think Rawchaa may have mentioned this one time before, but we did a teaching one time. It was a while back, and a sister, she was just straight about it. She was like, listen, if it comes to me feeding my children, I'm going to take the mark of the beast. And, she didn't make a fuss about it. She was like, listen, it's a done deal. Give it to me. And that's something that sisters have to examine. Okay? Like when things start going bad and we have to start going underground and we have to start backing away and separating ourselves from society, we're going to have to strengthen ourselves and really do it and rely on the Most High. Know that He's going to provide for us and that He's going to sustain us. But that was a big problem in when we came out of Egypt before. A lot of the sisters were concerned about how they were going to feed their children. Okay, a lot of the women that came out, and they put that pressure on their husbands, and then their husband put the pressure on Moses. Okay, and that's why a lot of people are going to opt to go back. They're going to opt to stay in the system, and they're going to take the mark. Like made me think about the movie Matrix. Like the guy, what's his name again? Right, the guy Cypher.
Yeah.
Okay, he couldn't handle it. He was out, free, but it wasn't enough because he didn't want to eat oatmeal or something or whatever that stuff was. You understand? Compromise. Manna is not going to be enough for some of y'all. Manna it's not going to be enough. Manna, coming straight from the heavens. Most High dropping it down, giving it to you every day. It's not enough. I missed the chicken. I missed the lamb. I just want to go back into the city and get some and just purchase some meat and bring it back. And you're gonna leave the camp, and that may be when the Most High decide to seal things. All right. I don't want to go too much into that, but where are we?
We have the
Commentary?
Yeah.
Okay.
It says society's so-called innovations are wicked inventions, but they get us with how much it helps the poor and impoverished, and aid in medical care and benefits and health benefits.
Exactly. That's interesting too. It says so society's so-called innovations, all right, are wicked inventions. Okay, but they get us. What's the sales pitch? Well, this is going to help the poor. That's the sales pitch. There's people suffering without this kind of equipment, and if we can offer it to the people at an affordable price, we can make people's lives better. Okay, it has health benefits. Also, about the poor, I know a lot of y'all probably already know about this. I'm not a YouTube connoisseur, so I just really found out about it. I had no idea that they were making rice. I had no idea that they were making rice from plastic. I didn't know. I had no idea that they're making artificial eggs. They're making artificial vegetables. And guess who's doing it? China. Yeah, I don't have a problem with them like that. All right. I don't want y'all I know that we have some multinational viewers. All right. So I'm not attacking anyone, but I'm just stating the facts. You understand? For some apparent reason, China, I don't know. It seems like they're competitive with the Most High or something. They're competing or something. Wait a minute. I think I can make it better.
Yeah.
You understand? I can make a desirable woman more desirable than a real woman. Something's going on because they're the one that's making this stuff.
It's true.
You understand? This stuff is not coming from no place else. Okay, so I don't know what kind of problems they have with creation, what kind of problem they have with natural vegetation and in natural produce and things like that. I don't know what the issue is. It seems like they go in the lab on everything. Y'all just should have. They should have just stuck the clothing garments.
Real talk.
You understand? Because they're getting carried away. And also, you know what? Be careful too, because about the egg thing. Like I said, I had no idea, y'all. I'm Johnny come lately. Okay, I had no idea, about the eggs. And for those of you who don't know, I guess you can go on videos. I don't have the links, but go on video, go on YouTube, and look and see how they produce and manufacture eggs. Also, cheese. A lot of things are just plastic. It's not even real. Okay, and it tells you how you can determine real real eggs or real rice. Most of the time I think real rice floats to the bottom of the pan or container. The plastic rice, it floats. Okay, and also I think about the eggs. It talks about how the yolk, once you crack the egg, if the yolk inside the egg automatically dissolves and blend in with the supposedly egg whites, then you have a manufactured egg. Typically, when you crack an egg, the yolk should stay compact. You understand, in the yolk form, and then you also notice like a thickness also to the whites. You notice the thickness. You can tell. Look, I went through a dozen of eggs, and I think about 10 of them were real, because I wanted this. I had to check this out. You understand? How can you make an egg? Man, how can you manufacture an egg? But they're doing it. They're doing it. Okay, and they're passing. And and we need to be careful too, because also the manufacturers or the retailers or the suppliers, the merchants who's selling these products, they're mixing this stuff so they can stretch their production or whatever, or maximize their costs. So you may get half real chicken eggs and half manufactured or produced eggs. Same thing with the rice. It's probably like that with a lot of things. They're giving you half and half. You understand? They're not nothing's pure anymore. For the most part, nothing is pure unless you're making it yourself. Then you can kind of bank on that it's pure. All right. So I didn't mean to go off on a tangent about that. Where are we? Oh, you know what I wanted to touch base on, and it's really sad too. So thinking about this rice, it really is sad, because a lot of this humanitarian aid, that stuff it's not real. So they're giving poor people and people who are destitute, who are in dire straits, they're giving them plastic food. They're giving them manufactured food. All that stuff is not GMO. All that stuff is not from Monsanto. These businesses and manufacturing companies are trying to maximize their profits, and they will do whatever they can do to supply the the need. All right. So where are we at? Let's get excuse me, let's get Isaiah the 24th chapter. I want to get something. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Let's go back up. Yeah, let's get Hebrews the 9th chapter, because I wanted to touch base on something else. Just a few scriptures about because I'm conflicted on what's going on with society, because a lot of people, because now they're trying to go into this transhumanism thing, but it seems as if people don't want to die. Like I said, it seems like the other nations, they have an issue with creation, and then you have a group of people out there that have an issue with wanting to prolong life or prolong death, excuse me, and make their life and extend their life. All right. Ultimately, though, you have to understand that it's the fallen angels also, once again, dealing with these spirits, because remember in Revelation the 12th chapter, Satan and his angels was cast out of heaven. So they're still trying to get back there. They're still trying to get back up into that level, in that dimension where the Most High and Yeshua resides at. All right. But Michael and his angels is like, this level is your cutoff point. This is where y'all dwell instead. Y'all cannot come back up here to bring forth accusations to the Most High. Those days are over with. All right. So get Hebrews 9 and 27.
Hebrews chapter 9 verse 27.
Mm-hmm.
And as it is appointed unto men once to die.
Right. So it's appointed already. It's already been decided that man would die once, and that man would have this experience of death. Now there may be some people, I don't want to say maybe, there will be some people who will not experience death from their birth. Okay. Most High will rear those people. All right. Is more on that?
It says, as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment.
Right, so it's appointed unto man once to die, and after that comes the judgment. Let's get Ecclesiastes, or rather the book of Sirach, chapter 14, verse 12. You want to read a precept in there also, because there's this fixation, you understand, with in the medical community, or just, I don't want to say in the medical community, but just amongst the elite and the rich, or people who can afford it. No one wants to experience death. They don't want to experience it. They don't want to die. And that's interesting. All men have one way in and one way out. You understand? And that's interesting too, because they dropped that, and there's a new movie out with the sister. Well, I don't want to call her a sister, but the lady. I don't know her name, but there's a new movie called Ghost in the Shell or something. It's the actress that played Lucy. And she played some of the Avenger movies and stuff. I forget her name, but she's playing this character where I forget what happened. I only saw like 10 to 15 minutes of the beginning opening scenes, and it was a little too much for me. But anyway, she something happens to her and she dies, right? And they take her brain and put her brain in this robotic body, and she have all these senses. She remember her whole life, and and all this other stuff. She's I guess she's like the female rendition of RoboCop or something. You understand? And they're using her for in the military, and then they started using her, to do, regular police or detective work or something like that. But like I said, I just watched the opening scenes, but they're pushing, you understand, for this mixture, you understand, or this combination, and the Most High is definitely against that. The Most High don't like mixing seeds, you understand. So you understand, he's not into mixing body parts. And I remember at one time you used to have, and like I said, now this is not an attack against anyone that has a physical impairment, but I remember at one time people would have hooks. They would lose a hand or part of their arm. Back in the day, all I ever saw was a hook. You understand? And I saw some prosthetics and stuff like that, but it's not like it is today. Today they have, them guys moving their fingers and looking like the Terminator and everything else. So it's funny because it made me think about Steve Austin. I just told y'all how old I was. The $6 million man. Yeah. Yep. Remember Steve Austin? And that was during the 70s. So technology has always been 20 to 30 years ahead. So that was during the 70s when the $6 million man came out, the Bionic Man and the Bionic Woman. That's what they're pushing for today. DARPA is spearheading that movement, and behind the scenes too, Monsanto it have a biotech department too. That's into some things. And I think I mentioned this one time before. For those of you who don't know, Monsanto, they're just not dealing with agricultural research, but they did come out. They created AstroTurf. For those of you who don't know, the fake grass and the AstroTurf, that's on the football fields and all that kind of stuff. They created that stuff. Okay, but yeah, so we're this whole thing with cryogenics and things like that, it's a reality. It's just not science fiction. It's not fantasy anymore. People are people who have certain ailments and diseases are asking for their bodies to be frozen and preserved. So later on, when there's a cure, or not when there's a cure, when y'all get the body straight, take my brain out and put in this body. That's the ultimate goal. Okay, they want to make a mixture. All right, they want to make a mechanical hybrid being. All right, if they don't have none already, because like I said before, there's some footage of some real robotics going on that China is building. So where are we at? Oh, let's get Ecclesiastes, the book of Sirach, the 14th chapter and the 12th verse.
All right.
Dealing with death. Let me get it real quick. Okay, read that.
Sirach chapter 14, verse 12. Remember that death will not be long in coming. And
you see that? This is what we need to remember. This is what these people need to remember. Death will not be long in coming. Okay? This is just a part of life. Okay? It's a part of life. Now, I know nobody wants to accept it. Nobody wants to embrace it. Nobody does. You understand? But to transgress against your allotted and appointed time by the Most High, you're going into something else with that. Because the Most High, He already put a time stamp on you. How can you change that? If the Most High is calling your spirit to come and to go back, who are you to try to retain it? But this is what man is doing. Read.
And that covenant of the grave is not showed unto thee.
That's interesting too. Because listen, when your spirit goes, your spirit goes. So you can't hold back your spirit from the Most High. So they can put you on ice all they want to. You're not there. When you wake up, guess who's there? You don't even wake up anymore. A fallen angel done woke up in your shell. That's what's really going on. A demon done in it and came back. And now people thinking it's you. He's back. Wow, the miracles of modern science. Read. That's it? No, it's on that, right?
14. It says, defraud not thyself of the good day, and let not the part of a good desire overpass thee. Shall thou not leave thy travails unto another?
Right. Read.
and thy labors to be divided by lot. Give and take, and sanctify thy soul.
Right. So this is going to happen. You understand? Like your inheritance and everything you accumulated during your life, you're going to leave behind, because you're going to have to go when it's time for you to. The issues of death belong to the Most High. Read.
It says, for there is no seeking of dainties in the grave.
You see that? So there's no seeking of dainties in the grave. That's something the Egyptians never got straight, because they like to be buried with all their artifacts and all their worldly goods. All right. Well, rather the ancient, supposed to be Egyptians, rather, they never got that one straight. Read.
Verse 17. All flesh waxeth old as a garment.
You see that? All flesh waxes old like a garment. Nothing keeps its vitality and its youth, but that's what they're trying to do. Excuse me. That's what this society is trying to do. They're trying to that everyone's trying to maintain their vitality. Everyone's trying to maintain their youth, the vigor. Nobody wants to let it go. Read.
It says, all flesh waxeth old as a garment, for the covenant from the beginning is, thou shalt die to death.
Right, so that was the covenant from the beginning. That was the agreement from the beginning. That you would live a certain period of time, and then you would meet your demise. That's just how the Most High designed it. Why? Because you're supposed to be transcending to another state, to another level. But a lot of people never have that experience. You know when you're going to transcend somewhere. You're going to transcend to hell. That's what you're going to transcend to. Instead of you going up, you're going to go down. Why? Because you want to freeze your body. You want to preserve your body. Interesting too, when it comes to dealing with, like I said, this is not a personal attack against anyone out there. I have to make these disclaimers. You understand? I know, especially our sisters, they like to go into surgery. You understand, and go under the knife and do enhancements and things like that. Stuff is not good for you. It's not good for you. You know, I can understand if you're trying to possibly maybe remove, some extra cellulite or something like that. You know what I mean? But as far as, dealing with the whole implant thing, and you understand, in certain areas of your body, Most High is definitely against that stuff. That's transhumanism too. Whether you understand, whether you realize it or not. And those things also pose different dangers and things like that. You understand, to your body. It's a foreign element, and a lot of those things are, there's some kind of solution, you understand, in those things. And I've heard cases where those things burst and they, you understand, or had leakage and things like that. You understand? Now that stuff is in your body. It's in your system. You understand? You have to be careful. All right. So where are we at now?
Verse 18.
Okay.
It says, as of the green leaves on a thick tree, some fall and some grow.
Interesting. Just like a tree on a leaf. It's like leaves on a tree. Some leaves fall and some leaves grow. Meaning some leaves grow, your flesh will turn green. Some leaves turn brown and they die. All right. So let's move on from there. Let's get give me one moment, because okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it to go on like that. Let's get Isaiah, the 24th chapter. Isaiah 24 and verse 4.
Isaiah chapter 24, verse 4. The earth mourned and faded away. The world languisheth.
Right, so the earth is in a state of mourning right now because of all because of all the detriment, you understand, that we have done to the earth. Okay, read.
and faded away. The world languisheth
Mm-hmm.
and faded away. The haughty people of the earth do languish.
Mm-hmm.
The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
Exactly. So now the leading in government governing societies of this earth, of this society we live in, they're defiling the earth. Okay, through their manufacturing plants, through their fracking, through their mining, their drilling, their excavations. You understand? There's just so many things. You understand? Climate changes taking place as far as with this HARP system, as far as these chemtrails that they're spraying. The whole ecosystem is just, it's not what it used to be. All right, read.
It says, verse 5, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof,
Mm-hmm.
because they have transgressed the laws.
Right. So society is in this state because the Most High laws have been transgressed. The Most High have laws on how to govern the earth, how to plant, when to reap crops, things like that. There's rules and regulations to this world we live in, to this planet, and the leading governing bodies of this society, they're not considering those things. They're not factoring those things in when it comes to their lifestyle, to construction. Really, when it comes to their greed. All right, for money, for power, for gain, for control. They're defiling the earth. Read.
It says, because they have transgressed the laws,
Mm-hmm.
changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
You see that? So they transgressed the Most High's laws and then changed some of the laws. Made it okay for them to do certain things with their what is it called, the EVA, I think it is, or the Environmental Protection Agency that's supposed to be protecting the environment, but they changed certain things for them to actually really take advantage and rape the earth. That's what they do. Hey, this is Satan. This is all his work. All right. Let's move on. Let's get second Psalms, the 52nd chapter. Psalms 52, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hold on. Okay, 52 and 1.
Psalm chapter 52, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Why boastest thou self in mischief, O mighty man?
Read that again.
Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man?
And this is what the society does. They have been boasting themselves in mischief because they're the ones that's mighty right now. They're the ones that's in the position. They're the ones that have all the power, the machinery, okay, to impose their will on the rest of mankind. Read.
The goodness of the Most High endureth continually.
Mm-hmm.
Thy tongue deviseth mischiefs.
Right, so all these things that they're doing is not necessary because the goodness of the Most High, it abides continually. The Most High provided us with everything we needed in this society to live peacefully and comfortably. Read.
Verse 2. Thy tongue deviseth mischief, like a sharp razor.
So their tongue is devising mischief like a sharp razor through their laws, through their legislation, through all their peace talks, through all their global efforts. Read.
Working deceitfully.
Right, and that's what they do. All these things, at the end of the day, it comes to working deceit in the earth and practicing deceit. Read.
Verse 3. Thou lovest evil more than good.
So they love evil more than good. They love the things that are a detriment and a danger to society and to people. not just physically, but spiritually. It seems as if they take pleasure in these things because they won't put an end to some of these things. Seems like they're constantly in support, okay, of destroying the earth and the morals of mankind. Read.
It says, "And lying rather than to speak righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place."
That's interesting because that's what's about to happen. That's what we have. That's what the earth and we can all look forward to. That the Most High is going to pluck these people out of their place, and He's going to change, and He's going to reverse things in this society. All right. Let's get 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. I just want to get a few more verses on how the Most High is actually going to improve things in the earth, regardless of the attempts and regardless of all the things that they're implementing in this earth. Okay, because the mark of the beast, it's going to have its run. It's going to have its run. But the Most High is going to end it. You understand? Most High will. You understand? Those of us who endorsed until the end, you understand? We're going to make it through this phase. All right. So what did I want again?
2nd Ezra 13.
2nd Ezra 13 or what?
36.
36? Okay. Give me one moment. All right. Okay.
2nd Ezra chapter 13. 2nd Ezra 13 and 36.
Mm-hmm.
And Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven with our hands.
Right. So this is during the second coming of Yeshua. So he's going to build Zion. Read.
Verse 37. And this my son shall rebuke the
wicked. That's interesting too, because when we build our society, we're not going to endanger wildlife. We're not going to contaminate the oceans, and we're not going to cut down trees that produce vegetation. We're not going to damage the soils of the earth with oil spills and different things like that, and affect the oceans with these oil spills. We're not going to our construction. We're the ones that's going to do the real greenhouse construction. Because y'all greenhouse construction, it's not really greenhouse construction. It's still a detriment and it's still damaging the earth. Read.
Verse 37. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions.
Right, and that's what's going to happen. When Yeshua come back, he's going to rebuke these wicked inventions. And as was stated earlier, Elder Rawchaa brought out, as he's stating through these precepts, is that these wicked inventions and these so-called innovations are all wicked. They're wicked. No matter how you look at it, they're all wicked. And these things, these inventions come from Satan. This is all his work. The same way the fallen angels taught technology in the beginning stages of mankind life, they're back again. Whether you want to call them the reptilians or whether you want to call them the Greys, whatever you want to call them. You understand? You see a lot of people, kind of like be into that. You understand that that UFO activity, and and they're learning from from these demonic beings. Yeah, that's true. They are. They're getting all their concepts, all their ingenuity, and all their advice from Satan and his minions. What's going on?
It says, and this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest.
You see that? So for their wicked life, for the life that they've been living, the life that they've constructed, they're going to have to get punished for. All right? And the Most High is going to have to give them proper retribution. All right? Let's get 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. A couple of chapters over. Their recompense has to be, it has to be just. It has to be what the Most High says it is. 2nd Ezra 15. Let's start from verse 46.
2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 46.
And the reason why I want to read this because I want to touch base on China and Japan. I have to read.
And thou, Asia, that art partakers of the hope of Babylon.
You see that because those societies, they've been partakers with Babylon. Okay, aka America. They've been partakers in this construct. They support it. They're the workers. They're the manufacturing. They are Esau's manufacturers and industrial workers. That's who they are. Just like I said, they make everything. Everything. Okay, from even when it comes to some of these parts that's used for weaponry and things like that. You understand? A lot of and it's interesting too because I think Donald Trump is going to he's going to fix that because he's trying to implement a law where we're going to start supporting this our American steel companies again, because all those other prefabs, most of the prefab things that's been coming from that America uses when they deal with assembly, construction, and stuff like that. Assembly, a lot of that stuff come from China. Most of it. So it's a possibility that they may lose some of those contracts, and that's why Trump is taking he's reevaluating NAFTA. Okay, but I don't want to go too much into that. All right, I'll leave that stuff at Elder Rawchaa. So let's move on.
It says, "And thou, Asia, that are partaker of the hope of Babylon."
Right, so they've been partakers in the hope, financially, industry-wise. They've been partakers. They've been benefiting from America's being consumers. Read.
And art the glory of her person. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her.
Right, so destruction unto those societies, because why they have made themselves like unto her. They have been allies. You understand? In the Confederacy against the Most High's chosen people. Read.
And has decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers.
Read.
Which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions.
You see that? So they have followed us, or followed America rather, in all their works and all their inventions. And that's why I wanted to kind of read this to touch base on how they're just as bad and how they've contributed, you understand, to the technology as far as assembling and putting these things together, you understand, to seduce and entice us. You understand, to make sure they've been innovative with a lot of advancement and things like that. They make sure that they lock us in, because when some of the things that they have introduced to society, those things have been tantalizing. You understand? You see some of the technology that they have. You understand, like it draws you to it, and you want to get it. So that also have taken part involved in the construct of assisting and implementing with this market of beasts. All right, there's more on that.
Yeah, it says yeah, that's it on that.
Okay, let's move on. Excuse me. Actually, let's move further in. Let's start here.
All right, the commentary says, so we must understand, in a world in which Satan is being followed by most, even those closest to it may confirm and overthrow us, simply because we have the ability through the Spirit of the Most High to purge those demons out through truth. There is no room for truth in a society built by the father of lies.
So now we're living in a society that's been built by Satan. So Satan's going to do whatever he can do to continue to push a lot of his wicked inventions on the Most High people. And because we have people, not just people in the truth, but you have different organizations also that's standing up and speaking out against some of the things that's being pushed in this society too. All right, so let's get John 8:44. Because Yeshua was identifying with this same spirit amongst the Pharisees. So through people consenting and being in an agreement with what's going on with some of these things in society and supporting some of these things, you're actually able to determine and make a decision on who's serving the Most High and who's serving Satan, or who wants to serve the Most High and who wants to serve Satan. John 8:44, right? Mm-hmm. One moment. Okay, read that.
It says, "You are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do."
Interesting. So people have a lust. People have satanic lust. So if you have a satanic lust and a perverted lust, 9 times out of 10, Satan's your father. Okay? May not be your spiritual father through creation, but in you dealing with your perversions, you understand, you've chosen to serve and follow Satan. All right, read.
It says, "In the lust of your father will ye do."
You see that? And the things that your father lusted after, that Satan lusts for, that Satan pushed and wills in society, that's what you're going to do. Read.
"He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him."
Interesting. So it says that he was a murderer from the beginning. Okay, speaking about also going back to the spirit of Cain, dealing with murder. Okay, dealing with jealousy, dealing with envy. Okay, read.
"When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And because I tell you the truth, you believe me not."
Right, and Yeshua was saying, because I'm telling y'all the truth, y'all don't believe my testimony. All right, let's move on. What do we have here? Oh, excuse me, wrong one. Let's read this commentary here. No bypassing of that.
It says, "If Satan is the father of lies and called a murderer from the beginning, what do we think those who relegate their vessels under his power through acceptance of this wicked system will do?"
Let's get Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter. Okay. Excuse me.
Not bad.
I'm sorry, y'all. We're in the Apocrypha. Excuse me. Oh, someone said Walt Disney is frozen right now. I didn't see that. Oh, yes, right. I forgot. Yeah, he went into the hyperbaric chamber, right? Yeah. No, Walt Disney's not frozen right now. He in hell right now. He burnt. That's where he at. Read that.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 1. "For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright."
Right. So this is what the ungodly said. Now they're rationalizing and they're trying to reason about their life, but they're not looking at this thing straight. Read.
Our life is short and tedious, and in debt of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave.
You see that? So they understand this. At least during this time they did. They struggling with it today. They trying to There must be another way. Read.
Verse 2. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been.
Right. See, because they don't want to be forgotten. They always want to be remembered. Read.
For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart,
Mm-hmm.
which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air.
Right. See, they don't want that. Just like Walt, he didn't want his body to be turned into ashes, but it's okay. He probably feeling hot and cold where he at. He probably freezing and burning at the same time. Read.
Verse 4. And our name shall be forgotten in time,
Mm-hmm.
and no man shall have our works in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud.
See, people want to be remembered forever. They don't want to die. Monuments is not enough. Books is not enough. Newspaper articles, that's not enough. I still just want to live. I don't want a memorial. You know, I just want to live. I don't want anybody, coming to visit my grave and putting flowers down. Just keep me alive. Read.
And shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away
Mm-hmm.
with the beams of the sun, and to overcome with the heat thereof.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 5. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning.
Mm-hmm.
For it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again.
Right. So, right. Death is fast sealed. So once you go, you don't come back again. That's why people who's dealing with their understanding of a reincarnation, y'all need to stop it. Listen, you're not coming back. All right. Once you go, you're gone. All right. You're gonna come back when your Shia comes back. You'll come back in the first resurrection. Okay, to eternal life or eternal death. One or the other. That's when you're going to come back. Read.
Verse 6. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in the youth.
You see that? So that's what the society want to do. That's what the rich and the elite want to do. They want to live. They want to live the rest of their lives. They want to explore and experience as much perversion and enjoyment as they possibly can. Read.
Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments.
You see that? So they fill themselves with costly wine and ointments, debauchery, drunkenness. Read.
And let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our own voluptuousness.
Right. So they're always trying to exalt themselves, always trying to give themselves a name, always trying to leave a great legacy. Read.
It says, let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place.
You see that? That's going into a lot of the memorials, the sculptures, the statues, evidence that they were there. All right. Read.
For this is our portion and our lot in this. Let us oppress the poor and righteous man.
Right. And in this process, see, a lot of them understand. They understand their end. They understand their demise. That's why they're trying to live forever. That's why they're trying to implement and push certain things in the earth to destroy us. Because why? They don't want Yeshua to come back. They're trying to prolong it as much as possible. Anytime they're going to stand up and fight against him and the angels, listen, they're going to do whatever they have to do to keep him from coming back and taking over their kingdoms. Read.
Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hair.
Right, so they don't spare the widows. They don't spare our sisters. They don't really care about widows and the children. Even though your boy Trump is going to take some of the finances from Planned Parenthood, right? He's going to do something like that, right? He's going to stop Planned Parenthood, which is a good thing. But he's still, there is still some other programs, some other services rather that Planned Parenthood does provide. You understand? For single, or just not single women, but for women in general. So it's, that what it's going to do is going to have its pros and its cons, but definitely, against the abortion thing. So that should not be financed. Okay, read.
Verse 11. Let our strength be the law of justice.
Right. So that God is power, is force. That's their law, strength. Listen, I don't care what the Bible say. You understand? I got power to do this and power to do that, and that's what I'm gonna do. I don't care what the Bible say. Read.
For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous.
Interesting. They say that it's feeble. That's what they think. There's no benefit in that. I'm not progressing. There's no profit. I haven't made a gain. You understand? That's why they have their legal system set up and established. Why? Because they benefit from that. You got to pay restitution, court fees, and fines, and all that stuff. What the Most High say? Nah, I don't make no money from that. They don't even want to deal with that. It's no benefit. Read.
It says, verse 12, therefore let us lie and wait for the righteous.
So now they're going to lie and wait for the righteous. Okay, so this is what's happening in society today. They're lying and they're waiting for the righteous. Okay, and that's taking place on many different levels. All right, read.
Because he is not for our turn.
Right. See, because we're not for their turn. We're not in allies. We're not seeing what they're seeing. We're not in any kind of agreement. Why? Because we following the Most High. Okay, so if the Most High says this shouldn't be happening, or this should get done, that's what we're going to be in support of. And that bothers them. Okay, read.
And he is clean and contrary to our doing.
You see that? Read.
He upbraided us with our offending of the law, with our offending the law.
Right, exactly. They do need to be corrected. They do need to be shown that transgression. They do need to be shown that sin when it comes to offending the law and the Most High. Read.
And objected our infamy, the transgressings of our education.
Right, and we're always going to be objective. We're going to always be against that educational system or the things that they're implementing in society that's unjust and wicked. Of course, we're going to speak out against those things. Read.
He professed to have the knowledge of the Most High.
Yes, we do. We do profess to have the knowledge of the Most High because He gave the knowledge to us. Okay, He said that the Bible was our knowledge in the sight of the nations. Read.
And He called Himself the child of the Most High.
Hey, Banya Sha'ala, Banya Sha'ala, Banya Hawara, Banya Sha'ala. Read.
He was made to reprove our thoughts.
Interesting. So we were made to reprove their thoughts. The righteous was made to reprove the thoughts of the wicked. Read.
He is grievous unto us, even to behold.
So now we're grievous. Not only are we grievous because we're trying to make the corrections and we're trying to show them their transgressions, but also we're grievous just for them to behold. Tired of looking at them. We have to do something about this. Hey, Trump got something in the makings. I don't know what, but he mixing something up in the pot. For real, he's going to start. He's going to start implementing a lot of these, a lot of things that's going to affect our people. That's going to usher in the Jacob trouble experience. Okay, read.
For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion.
You see that? Our life is not like other people. Our ways are of another fashion. What fashion is that? The righteous fashion. Read.
We are esteemed of him as counterfeits.
Wait a minute. I don't know. It says that. Read that again.
We are esteemed of him as counterfeits.
It says that they know that we view them as counterfeits. Because the truth is out, who the real Jews are. Read.
He abstained from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounced it the end of the just to be blessed, and make it his boast that the Most High is his Father.
And that's interesting. That's what we do. We prophesy. When we teaching, when we speaking, when brothers be out there, you understand? That's what they we profess that to the world. We never want to stop professing that. Read.
Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him.
Now they want to test the Most High. They want to see. You understand? Is God really protecting them? Are they really covered? Is there really a God? And they're going to test the waters. They're going to try the waters. But regardless of what happened, we got to go through this stage. We got to go through this process. Okay, when they start implementing these things more and more, or implementing things that's going to have more of a grave effect on our people. All right, read.
Verse 18. For if the just man be the son of the Most High, he will help him.
Right, but yeah, the Most High is going to help us. Might not be right away, you understand, but in due time, they will see the second coming of Yeshua. They will see our deliverance. Okay, and in our deliverance shall be that visitation from the Most High. All right. I'm sorry, is this one right? No, this one. All right. Let me see, because we're going to have to shut it down soon. Just want to get a few more scriptures, and then we're going to close out. Let's get Proverbs, the 8th chapter. I apologize, y'all. I know I went on some tangents, and Elder Rawchaa, his classes, his lessons be power packed with scriptures. Can't get to them all. Just want to kind of narrow it down with these remaining scriptures. What is Proverbs? What 8 and 6?
8 and 6, yeah.
Okay. Okay. One moment. Okay.
Proverbs chapter 8, verse 6. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things.
So, read that again.
It says here, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips.
Right.
All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing froward or perverse in them. They are all plain to him that understand it, and right to them that find the knowledge. Receive my instruction, and not silver.
So it's better to receive instruction than silver. Read.
And knowledge rather than choice gold.
Right, and to receive the knowledge of the Most High rather than choice gold. Read.
For wisdom is better than rubies. And all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it.
So all the things that are to be desired from in carnality, you understand, or materialistic items, those things are not to be desired when it comes to dealing with wisdom, when it comes to dealing with a rational mind, when it comes to dealing with righteousness. Read.
Our wisdom dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions.
Right. So wisdom dwell with prudence, with cautiousness, and find out the knowledge of witty inventions. Right. And when you go into this, the understanding of the witty inventions is talking about how wisdom disprove the knowledge and the inventions of mankind. Because just using logic would tell you that a man is supposed to deal with a woman, that he inseminates his seed into a woman and life evolves and comes from that. Nothing comes from a plastic doll. Nothing comes from that. Wisdom teaches us that. But wisdom, I don't know. The nations, you understand, or the people who are inventing these things, they're not dealing with wisdom. It's something is not registering with them. Read.
It says, verse 13, the fear of the Most High is to hate evil.
So the fear of the Most High is to hate evil. Right? So we are against the inventions of this society. Okay? The so-called witty inventions, which are really, when you go into this, is wicked and mischievous inventions. That's all these things are. Okay? So these things are not technological advancements. These things are not innovativeness. Mankind is not moving forward and prospering to better things. We're destroying ourselves. That's what this society has done. That's what it has offered. The state and the condition that we're in today. This is it. This is it. Okay, this is all you ever going to get from this society. Read some more on that.
It says, in the evil way, in a froward mouth do I hate.
Right.
It says, counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding, I have strength.
Okay, that's it on it. Let's get Micah, the second chapter, Micah 2:10, last scripture. So when it's time to, a lot of us are going to have to make a decision. Either you're going to depart, either you're going to stay in this society, or you're going to depart and leave the society. Okay, either you're going to take the mark or you're not. All right, let's get Micah 2:10.
Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
So the Most High, he wants us to arise and depart. When the time comes for us to leave and separate ourselves from this society, from the wickedness, of this society, the inventions of this society, the technology, the benefits, the prosperity, whatever the society has to offer, that you're still grappling to hold on to. It seems like people are still looking for the American dream. That dream, it died a long time ago. It doesn't exist. It's always been, it's been a mirage. That's what it is. It's a mirage. It's always been that. No matter how physical, no matter how materialistic it has been, no matter how tangible it has been, it may seem, it's all a mirage. Because this world is going to pass away, like the scripture says. So we need to make a rational decision on where we're going to be standing at when that day comes. Just like Moses drew the line, we're going to have to draw the line and determine whether you're going to take the mark or whether you're going to reject the mark, whether you're going to stay within the society or whether you're going to leave the society. Is there more on that?
Yeah, it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
Right. This is not our rest. It's not our kingdom. It's not our kingdom. It's not our world. Okay. The scripture says that the law should go forth from Zion. Their righteousness is going to flourish throughout the earth. That's not what's taking place here. Read.
It says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction.
And that's what happened. That's what's happening now. This society is destroying us. And it's destroying us with a sore destruction. And that's why we're in this state that we're in. And we're going to continue to stay in this state. Not just us as Israelites, but just us in general. Okay? Let me get one more scripture. Let's get 2 Ezra, the 11th chapter in the Apocrypha. This is the constellation right here, the constellation. Let's get 2 Ezra, the 11th chapter, and let's start from verse 41.
2 Ezra chapter 11, verse 41. It says, for the earth has thou not judged with truth.
Right, so this earth and this society hasn't been judged with truth. But when the Most High comes and Yeshua, he's going to judge it with righteousness and truth. Read.
For thou hast afflicted the meek, Thou hast hurt the peaceable.
Right, and that's this the last remaining societies that's going to be governing the earth. They're going to afflict the meek, and what else are they going to do?
It says, thou hast hurt the peaceable.
That has afflicted the meek and hurt the peaceable. Read.
Thou hast loved liars.
And they love lying. They love falsehood. They love fallacy. They love making up stories and distorting the truth. Read.
And destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit.
Right.
And has cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm.
Exactly. Read.
Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up to the Most High.
See, these wrongful dealings are coming up to the Most High. The Most High is hearing the blood of our ancestors and our brothers, our fallen soldiers and sisters. It's crying from the grave. Read.
And thy pride unto the mighty. The highest also had looked upon the proud times.
Right, so the Most High have seen the proud time, the so-called prosperous times of the society. He have seen them. Read.
And behold, they are ended.
Right, and they are ended. These things are about to end. Read.
And his abominations are fulfilled.
Right, because the Most High, there's a scripture in Job where it says the Most High have appointed the days where they cannot surpass. Read.
Verse 45. And therefore appear no more thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings,
right,
nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws.
Exactly. Read.
Nor all thy vain body. Exactly.
Read.
That all the earth may be refreshed.
What will the earth be?
Refreshed.
The earth will be refreshed. Okay, so the Most High, he's going to clean it up. It's defiled right now, physically, as far as the ecosystems go, as far as the minds of the people. With the Most High, this is going to be refreshing, though. You read?
And may return, being delivered from thy violence.
And that's what's happened. It's going to be delivered, and everything is going to return back to the natural state. The natural state. Okay? That things are supposed to be in. Okay? Male and female. Created he them. All right? So with that, that's going to be it, brothers and sisters. I hope you all was able to get something out of this class. Elder Rawchaa put together a good lesson, and I hope that you all were just able to get something out of the class. And I don't think I have any announcements, but I would like to say that those of you who are still interested, there's still an opportunity to get involved in the Hebrew Academy. So those of you who would like to get involved in the Hebrew Academy, you still can. All right. So Elder Gabar should be coming on real soon. Do you happen to know well, I'm not sure, but I know that I think there's a special code now, and I believe it is to enter in Elder Gabar classes, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but if there is, I can't provide that passcode for anyone right now, and I'll try to look into that and figure out a way how for you all to participate in that class. Okay. So with that, I just want to say Shabbat Shalom, and thank you all for attending and taking time out of your day. And may the Most High bless you all, you and your families. Okay. Okay. So Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.